What is the best place to live in Poland among its 107 cities? Yes, you heard it right. Poland has only 107 cities. The low number is due to the Polish distinction between towns and cities. While a town mayor is called the burmistrz, a city mayor is the president miasta. Other differences are some public services like specific courts and so on. There isn't any city in Poland with less than 35,000 residents, though some towns might have a larger population. Wrocław has around 70,000 residents and is not even considered a city, for example. Where should I live in Poland? Is a question I asked myself 8 years ago when I was planning to move here. 8 years later, an interesting study conducted by the consulting firm ThinkCo and the Polish portal Autodom helped us find the answer to this question. What are the 10 best cities to live in Poland? Today we discover their names, my personal opinion, and most importantly, at the end of this video, we'll explain why Warsaw is not among the top 10. But what is the criteria to define this top 10? The researchers asked multiple questions to 36,000 people. This is 12 times more respondents than presidential polls have. The respondents gave their opinions on a scale from 1, completely unhappy, to 5, extremely happy in multiple factors. They also named the things that had a positive or negative influence on their life in each city. These components included availability of essential and non-essential commerce, public transportation, natural environment, security and safety, availability of entertainment and cultural attractions, cost of living, availability of sports and recreational venues, relations with the neighborhood and community, cleaning and maintenance of the city, availability of health services, and infrastructure for kids. Now that you know the criteria, let's discover the 10 best places to live in Poland. In 10th place is Krakow. Score 3.69, where 1 means completely unhappy, while 5 means extremely happy. The thing that Krakow residents liked best were public transportation. 39% said it had a positive impact on their lives, commerce with 36%, and entertainment and cultural attractions with 34%. A curious result is that Krakow scored better than any other large city in Poland in the availability of health services with 20%. The worst evaluated factors are the living costs. 54% of the respondents consider that it has a negative impact, and the natural environment, where 48% consider it negative. My personal opinion about Krakow is that it's not a bad place at all. Although I live in Warsaw, I consider Krakow a more pleasant city in almost all aspects. An exception would be the job market, and it's probably the best place to visit in Poland if you have only a few days. They do have a great public transport system and cheaper than Warsaw, and the city has plenty of cultural attractions that are often not present even in Warsaw. For example, the Cirque du Soleil made presentations both in Gdansk and Krakow, but not in Warsaw. The bad aspects mentioned are also in line with my own experiences. Compared to other Polish cities, except for Warsaw and Sopot, Krakow is expensive, at least for Polish standards. The complaints about the environment are also understandable. During the winter, Krakow has some of the worst air quality of any city in the world. Now let's go to the 9th place, Poznan, with a score of 3.73. The best evaluated factors are the public transport, 34% of the respondents said it had a positive impact on their life, and availability of entertainment and cultural attractions with 31%. The worst evaluated factors are the living costs, 49% said it was negative for them, and the natural environment with 31%. My personal opinion about Poznan is that it's a surprise to see that people have so bad remarks about the natural environment there. The city is not even close to having air as polluted as Krakow or Warsaw during the winter. I also expected more criticism about security. Poznan is way more violent than other major Polish cities. However, since Poland is a very safe country, it is still much safer than other similar-sized European cities. In 8th place, Katowice, with a score of 3.75. The best evaluated factors are availability of commerce, with 32% consider it positive, and Katowice also had the best results among all large cities in Poland in 2 factors: availability of sports and recreation venues, 24%, and infrastructure for kids, with 18%. The worst evaluated factor, Katowice had the worst score among all large cities in security, with 25% of the respondents saying it negatively impacts them. My personal opinion is that Katowice indeed has a remarkable infrastructure, both for commercial activities and also for sports and recreation. Lately, The city and its metropolitan area have become the host of multiple fairs and large events in Poland that before would be in Warsaw or Krakow. The bad result in security isn't because of the city itself, but I guess it's because of the areas around it. For example, impoverished towns like Bytom or Sosnowiec never got back on their feet after the coal mine industry collapsed. Katowice itself has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country, and job opportunities in the tech and service sector are attractive to foreign professionals. In 7th place is Rzeszów with a score of 3.76, followed by Szczecin in 6th place with a score of 3.82. The best evaluated factor for Szczecin was the natural environment, where 36% of the respondents considered it had a positive impact on their lives. One of the worst evaluated factors is the public transport. 26% remarked it has a reason to dislike the city, and that is surprising to me. I personally never visited Szczecin, but nearly every single city I have been in Poland had great public transport, except maybe for Łódź, where it's too expensive and sometimes not punctual. In 50th place comes Bielsko-Biała with a score of 3.85. My personal opinion about Bielsko-Biała is that it's a lovely city close to the Beskid Mountains. It's medium-sized with around 170,000 residents, and this city has the advantage of being located 1 hour or less from major urban centers like Katowice or Ostrawa in Czech Republic, but without the cons of these larger cities. It's a bit colder than the other cities on this list, so you may spend a bit more on heating bills. If in the future I move out from Warsaw, Bielsko-Biała is on the list of the cities that definitely I would live in. In 4th place is Tychy, with a score of 3.91, and in the 3rd place is Zielona Góra, with a score of 3.95. I have never been to Zielona Góra, but from what I know, the city, which has around 140,000 inhabitants, offers great opportunities for anyone who likes nature, or a student seeking higher education. The University of Zielona Góra provides a diverse range of programs, including foreign languages and computer science. Now let's go for the second best place to live in Poland. It's a city that I bet you were expecting to see in this ranking. However, before we review its name, I would like to ask a small favor. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. So in the second place is Gdansk, with a score of 3.96. The best evaluated factor of this Baltic city is the natural environment, with 37% consider it a positive factor. The same percentage that also evaluated positively the availability of entertainment and cultural attractions. The worst evaluated factor are the cost of living and the availability of health services. My personal opinion about Gdansk is that it's one of the most popular summer cities in Poland, although neighboring Sopot may overshadow it. The city has a charming and partially reconstructed old town and market square. It has plenty of nice parks and one of the best air quality indicators in the entire country, despite being a relatively large city. In the first place, the best city to live in Poland is very close to Gdansk, but it's not you, Sopot. You didn't make it. Sorry. We are talking about Gdynia. It's the only city with a score above 4, reaching 4.03. The best evaluated factors are the public transportation and the natural environment. The worst evaluated factor is the cost of living. 57% evaluated negatively, and this is the worst result on this factor in the entire country. My personal opinion about Gdynia is that it has a very clean air, beautiful parks, and great public transport. The city also has a very nice museum, actually a ship museum, the Błyskawica, and the cost of living is pumped during the summer by large tourist inflows. And I guess that, together with the proximity to Sopot, the most expensive city in Poland, inflates the price inside the city. That explains why so many locals are dissatisfied with the cost of living. Now let's answer the question that probably 90% of all of you are asking. Why Warsaw is not among the best places to live in Poland? But I honestly would rather ask, why would Warsaw be among the best places to live in Poland? Why does it deserve more than cities like Bielsko-Biała or Krakow? Warsaw is much more expensive than nearly all Polish cities, except for resorts like Sopot during the summer or Zakopane during the winter. For example, housing prices in Warsaw are between 149% and 169% higher than in Szczecin. It's insane. The very high costs, plus the pollution, traffic, and other perks of a major city are enough to explain why it's not in this top 10. But there is also a good characteristic of Warsaw. It's safe, way safer than London, for example. And if you want to understand why, check this video to your left, where we dig into the reasons for the skyrocketing violence in the English capital.